Welcome to Marvel Multiverse Unfiltered, where we cut through the hype and dive straight into the wildest theories, biggest leaks, and real talk about everything MCU. If you have been a Marvel fan since the first Iron Man, you're in the right place. Now let's get into it.
Marvel Multiverse. Unfiltered is a fan-made channel, not affiliated with Marvel Studios or Disney. All content is for commentary, analysis, and entertainment under fair use. All rights to footage and characters belong to Marvel and their respective owners.
Marvel. The rise to cinematic perfection, the fall into chaos, and the slim hope of redemption. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, is, without question, one of the most fascinating, successful, and now troubling franchises in the history of cinema. Its rise to dominance was nothing short of legendary. Its fall, however, has been one of the hardest and fastest we've seen from any major franchise. And yet, as of today, there's still a narrow path that could lead Marvel back to glory, but only if they learn from their past and not repeat their recent mistakes. The perfect build, the Infinity Saga. When Marvel Studios launched Iron Man in 2008, few could have predicted what would follow. What started as a single film starring Robert Downey Jr. quickly became the foundation for what would be a decade-long cinematic experiment. Marvel, led by Kevin Feige, wasn't just creating standalone superhero movies. They were building an interconnected universe, something Hollywood had attempted before but never executed at this scale. Every film in phases 1 through 3 wasn't simply about its own story, but part of a larger, masterfully woven narrative. Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America, the first Avenger, and the Avengers laid the groundwork. Each film introduced new heroes, developed complex character arcs, and slowly planted seeds for a larger looming threat: Thanos and the Infinity Stones. Marvel mastered the art of patience. They didn't rush toward the big event. Instead, they spent years earning the audience's emotional investment. Every film felt important because it advanced both the individual characters and the overarching plot. By the time Infinity War and Endgame arrived, Marvel had built a deep connection between its characters and the audience. When Iron Man died, people wept. When Captain America passed the shield, it felt earned. When the portals opened in Endgame, it was pure cinematic magic. They had quite literally reached something close to cinematic perfection. The fall, post-Endgame missteps. But then came the problem no one at Marvel truly prepared for. What happens after perfection? The conclusion of Endgame left the MCU at its peak, but also without many of its cornerstone heroes. Iron Man was gone. Captain America was retired. Black Widow was dead. The emotional core that had driven the MCU for over a decade was suddenly gone. Marvel moved forward with Phase 4, but instead of replicating the patient world building that got them to Endgame, they made a critical error. They sacrificed quality for quantity. Suddenly, instead of 2 or 3 films a year, Marvel was pumping out an overwhelming stream of content between theaters and Disney+. The MCU shifted from being a special event to feeling like non-stop content. We got Black Widow, Shang-Chi Eternals, Doctor Strange, 2 Thor, Love and Thunder. The Marvels Plus, shows like WandaVision, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, and many more. The problem wasn't just that there was too much. It was that much of it felt directionless. Characters were introduced with little long-term connection. Storylines felt rushed or incomplete, and many of the shows and films lacked the emotional stakes or polished writing fans had come to expect. Worse, Marvel's signature VFX began to slip. Complaints about CGI issues, rush production schedules, and corporate mandates started becoming common headlines. The once flawless Marvel machine was starting to crack. With the exception of a few bright spots like Loki and Spider-Man, No Way Home, the vast majority of Marvel's post-Endgame output has disappointed both critics and audiences. Films like The Eternals and The Marvels not only flopped commercially, but also failed to resonate emotionally. Even longtime Marvel fans began to check out. The MCU went from the world's most trusted movie brand to a franchise people were increasingly losing confidence in. The core. Mistake. They forgot what made it work. The biggest error Marvel made was simple. They forgot what made the first 3 phases successful. What made the Infinity Saga work wasn't just big action scenes or famous characters, it was time. It was build-up. It was earning the payoff through years of careful storytelling. Audiences were willing to wait because every film added something meaningful to the saga. Post-Endgame Marvel tried to skip that build-up and rush to the next event without the same investment. They wanted to find the next Endgame moment without earning it. But Endgame only worked because of the 10 years leading up to it. Instead of slow world building, we got forced multiverse plots, confusing Kang storylines, inconsistent tone, and a flood of characters no one had time to care about. The slim path to redemption, Doctor Doom and Battleworld. But despite the massive fall, Marvel still has one card left to play. One final shot that could bring them back to cinematic dominance. Doctor Doom and Battleworld. Doctor Doom is one of Marvel's most iconic, complex, and fascinating villains. Done correctly, he could rival or even surpass Thanos as a cinematic villain. He's not just evil for the sake of evil. Doom is a ruler, a scientist, a sorcerer, and a man driven by both arrogance and tragedy. He could bring back the grounded, powerful threat the MCU desperately needs. Battleworld, inspired by the Secret Wars comic storyline, offers Marvel a chance to essentially hit the reset button. The multiverse could collapse into one world, allowing characters from multiple timelines to coexist, reboot, or even write off weak storylines. This could fix many of the issues Marvel created in phases 4 and 5. Most importantly, there's one major glimmer of hope. The Russo brothers are reportedly returning to direct these upcoming films. This is huge. The Russo brothers understood how to balance large ensemble casts, long-running plot threads, and emotional stakes. They delivered both Infinity War and Endgame, arguably Marvel's 2 finest films. If anyone can handle something as massive as Battleworld and Doctor Doom, it's them. Can Marvel pull it off? The honest answer is maybe. Marvel is running out of time. The audience goodwill they spent 10 years building has been mostly spent over the last 5. People are skeptical, cautious, and tired. But the pieces are still on the board. If they commit to strong writing, patient storytelling, and give the Russos the creative control they had before, there's a path to redemption. But if they try to rush into Secret Wars without laying proper groundwork or make Doctor Doom a shallow villain, they risk losing the audience for good. The stakes are massive. The fall has been historic. But the potential comeback could be just as epic if they play it right. Fingers crossed, they don't mess it up. Thanks for watching Marvel Multiverse Unfiltered. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below. I love hearing your thoughts and theories. Catch you in the next adventure.